Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video here today for an F3 race on iRacing around Navarra in Spain. Navarra is a circuit that I've only ever driven at once before, and that was also one of the first races I ever did in the F4 car, so learning a new track and a new car at the same time probably wasn't the best idea, and I thought this track was just terrible after that because I just couldn't drive it anyway fast or cleanly. But driving on it in a car that I am very familiar with, the F3 car, my favourite car on iRacing at the moment, it turns out that it's actually not too bad of a track and it's actually pretty fun to drive. For this one, we're starting down in P17, a long way down. It was a very bad qualifying for me, a 135.786, and in practice before this I had done around a 133.7, so should really be starting in the top 10 for this one, but it is what it is, and we're going to try and have to survive and fight our way from towards the end of the field. But up on pole position is a very familiar name. It is Mr. Will Power, two-time IndyCar champion and 2018 Indianapolis 500 winner, the Penske driver, showing all of us how the real guys do it and just showing why he is one of the best racing drivers in the world. So going into this one, very excited as it was my first time doing an official race with a high profile real life driver. I wasn't expecting to really be anywhere near Will on the track, but turns out that we did end up having a bit of side by side action at one stage during the race. This one was a very good race. It was very clean on my end, but very interesting end to this one, I'll just say that. So with that said, let's get into it. So as we're waiting now from P17 on the grid, the four red lights come on, the rows build up, and as the lights go out, we get a pretty good start. The purple car directly ahead of us on the grid gets a very bad start. We move up one position already on the run into the very tricky double right-hander of turn 1 and turn 2. Lifting off really early here as with a lot of cars ahead of us. Just want to avoid running into the back of anyone as we nearly do there. Nearly run into the back of Jason, who is the car ahead of us. As we're side by side through turn 3, but with the inside line we managed to hold that position, and now into the double left-hander. Once again, nearly run into the back of one of the cars ahead of us, and then into this tricky left-hander. We managed to hold position in, I think it's P16 because of that one position we made up on the start, but into this right-hander onto the back straight. We once again nearly run into the back of the car ahead of us. Caught out a bit by how slow they were taking that car. I was taking it easy. I don't want to take too many risks on the opening lap. There's just really no point. You can't win the race at this stage, this early stage, but you can definitely be out of it and lose the race. So just taking our time, playing it sensible, not going for any mad moves or anything like that. Especially with cold tyres during the practice I was doing, I kind of noticed it takes the lap, even lap 3 or 4 before the tyres are fully up to temperature around this track, and you can really start pushing like you normally would without feeling like you're understeering too much. Going through the final turn then to end lap 1, we moved up that one place at the start, and we started P17, but as we cross the line we're going to be up into P14 it is, so we gained another place at the start there. Must have been a car that started from the pits that was ahead of us, and well, I can actually say that it was Will Power, who should have been on pole, actually started from the pit lane, I do believe. So wanted to clearly give himself a bit of a challenge in this race against us lower plebs. As we go back to us now through the double left-hander, we get a very good exit or run through the opening section of turn 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that's something you'll notice throughout this race. Seems to be somewhere where we gain a lot of time on the cars around us, and on the exit of that turn onto the back straight we get a bit wide there. Not really what you want to do, but we keep it facing in the right direction, which is the main thing, and we don't lose too much time to the cars ahead of us. And yeah, there's 2 cars ahead that are doing a lot of fighting. They're going side by side through a lot of turns. There's the yellow and red car you can see there going too wide into this hairpin, and it's the two of those fighting that are really helping me keep up with this group. I don't really think I'm fast enough to be up keeping with at this stage, but you can see there they are going side by side once again into the final corner. They make contact, and while the cars crash into the barrier, as there's another car facing the wrong way after some kind of collision on the pit straight. So made 2 positions there at the end of lap 2, and we're up into P12. This is the turn 1 now. See a car, that car coming out of the pits. Luckily it doesn't get in our way. We're able to take turn 1 and turn 2 as we normally would. And you can see there once again we gain a lot of time in turn 3. Down now to this double left-hander, and you're going to see that the car ahead of us carries a bit too much speed, runs into this black car who loses his rear wing. I didn't know where he was going, so just kind of stayed where I was and took a lot of speed to not run into the back of him. We gained 2 positions there for free because of that collision, but unfortunately it does mean we're after losing touch to some of the cars just ahead of us. But as we skip forward now to the next lap, at the end of that straight, there's a car ahead of us who's going to go for a spin. I didn't know where he was going to go there. He was just kind of stopping on the racing line. Had to go off track to avoid him. Lets one car through, and now we're going side by side through the hairpin with Mr. Willpower. We're side by side again through this left-hander, leaving room on the exit as he's just about to stay ahead. But he has the inside line for this hairpin. I run a bit wide, and on the exit he just closes the door there and takes that position. So didn't last for long, but now I can say that I did race side by side against the IndyCar champion and the Indy 500 winner. I feel like now that he's just going to pull away from us, which he did. Just a lap later he's already about a second and a half ahead. As into towards the end of the lap there's a car off the track there, so gain another position there from P11 up into P10 now. But that car that was off the track is much quicker than us, and you can see here through this turn he was about 3 or 4 tenths behind me going into there, and just shows that I'm not taking that corner very well. He gained so much, and then into the right left hand hairpin he sticks his nose down the inside. He was way too far back to be trying to go for a move there, and I just take my racing line and close the door on him. As up ahead, Willpower and Aidan Carter, they've been having a bit of a battle on that lap. It's meant we're after closing in by about half a second, so only for their fighting they will be well up the road from me. On the exit onto the pit straight, we run onto the curb a bit too much there, don't get a great exit, and Jason Taylor behind us. He was about 3 tenths behind us at the start of that straight with the slipstream. He's going to go over inside into turn 1, into turn 2, and then into turn 3. I thought he was understeered a bit there. Thought we were going to make contact, but he left room on the exit and gets the move done nice and clean. And I just want to really try and stay close to him and see if he can drag me along. At the end of that lap you can see there on the right there was a car pulling into the pit lane, so we lost 1 position at the start of that lap. We're going to gain 1 at the end of it, and we remain in P10. And not really too much happens for a good few laps in this race. Lap 8 we set our new fastest lap of the race, and then on the very next lap we beat it once again down to a 33.8. A few laps later 34.2, and then the very next lap 34.1. So we're just getting more and more consistent and faster as this race goes on. But as we start lap 17, I'm going to let you listen to what my engineers are saying.
You've got 5 laps to go. Okay, Ken, we've got about 4 laps of fuel left.
So yeah, 5 laps to go, and the other engineer is saying that we have 4 laps of fuel remaining, which isn't something you like to hear. It means we're not going to make it to the end at this rate, and this is the fixed F3 series, so there should be enough fuel in the car to get to the end. And you might have saw there as I changed the MFD that we are about half a lap short on fuel, so for the next few laps going to have to try and do some lift and coast short shifting to save some fuel so that we can actually get to the end of this race. and you can really see this here into this braking zone. We're going to lift off a bit earlier than we would be braking and then brake later, so we try not to lose as much time with save fuel. As we start lap 19 then, 3 laps to go, you can see that we have 2.9 estimated laps of fuel left, so big lift here through turn 2 with braking late then into turn 3. This was one of my favourite places to try and save fuel on this track. Just the nature of the turns is really allowed for it, I think. Won't need too much more fuel saving on this lap, but get a bit distracted by trying to figure out the fuel into this double left-hander, sorry. Going a bit wide there. Luckily, don't think we're going to lose too much time as we once again lift into this right-hander onto the straight. And you can see on the relative there, the car behind, he was about 4.5 seconds behind when I started fuel saving, and now he's only 3. So maybe he's not saving as much as I am. As we start the second to last lap here, we are right on target with our fuel. So just going to do a little bit more fuel saving on that lap, so we're safe for this last lap that we are starting here. On this last lap, see that we have just over 1 lap of fuel remaining, so we're safe to push flat out for this final lap and see if we can try and pick up any more positions. Spoiler, but we are definitely going to be able to do that, as it turns out that not a lot of drivers, or a good few drivers, didn't realise that this setup was a bit short on fuel, which seems like a bit of an error on iRacing's part with this setup, because in the fixed series you shouldn't have to fuel save. On the back straight you can see there Jason, who was ahead of us, runs out of fuel and we get past nice and easy. And if you look at the relative once again, you can see the car that's at the top of it, his delta to us is dropping very rapidly, so it seems like he's after running out of fuel as well, as has the lap car that is directly ahead of us. So here now, don't really know what he was doing, honestly, staying in the middle of the track on the racing line with no fuel. And then on the right hand side, that other car making his way to the pit, so he might not be able to make it to the line. As we go through the final turn here, Julian ahead of us, he nearly gets there but just doesn't have the fuel to accelerate quick enough to the line, and we managed to get past him. So come across the line to finish in P7, making up 3 places on that last lap, just because we were able to realise that we needed to do some fuel save. And you can see here the chat after the race, there's a lot of people who were a bit confused at what was after happening with the fuel. So whether that'll be fixed in the setup later in the week, who knows, but at least now we know that for any future races we're going to have to do a little bit of fuel save, and we can manage that throughout the race. So as we saw there at the end, it was P7, so made up 10 positions throughout that race, which I am very happy with. There's definitely more pace to find, and we ended up finishing 43 seconds behind the leader, and I honestly don't really know how I can make up 43 seconds. So there's definitely levels to this thing that I am yet to reach. And Willpower, he finished about 22 seconds ahead of us, and he passed us on around lap 5, I think it was. So in about 15 laps he made up over a second lap on us, again showing that there is different levels to this thing. But we ended up gaining 61 I rating, gaining a bit of safety rating, so all in all a very good race and very happy with how it went. But that's it for this one. Until the next one, thanks very much for watching. See you then.